So we knew that there would be updates about the layoffs from Microsoft laying off 9,000 total employees. And one of the companies that I was curious about was King. Well, today we learned that King, via a MobileGamers.biz report, who are claiming they have multiple sources, they're saying that the team at King was told to create AI, and now that AI has replaced them. So I've seen this making the rounds, and let's just read what happened because there is a letter and some details here that you might find interesting. Long story short, laid off King staff set to be replaced by the AI tools they helped build. Sources say. I can't talk right now. Sorry. Here is the letter that is making the rounds basically. And what was said. Why is this happening? The industry is changing fast and our business has not been growing. When that happens, we must not only look outside at competitors and the market, but also inside. As we've talked about before, we are making several changes to get the business back to growth. Unlocking many more AI tools is one recent example. Investing more in marketing this year is another, thank God. We're fortunate to have many talented individuals at King, but we also have a collective problem. The size and structure of the company often makes it difficult to get things done. So we plan to simplify the organization, fewer layers, fewer overlapping remits, fewer hours spent on alignment, fewer people in meetings, fewer stakeholders for every project. Many leaders across King have been asked to redesign their organizations to be smaller overall. There will be some new roles created in these redesigns and some rebalancing of headcounts across King, but overall King will be a smaller company. Now, King, if you didn't know, was the whole reason that Microsoft said they were purchasing Activision Blizzard back in the day. They repeatedly went with the line that this is really about getting into the mobile market, etc., etc. That doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like almost like maybe that was all bullshit. Because at the end of the day, they have not launched their mobile platform that Sarah Bond promised not that long ago, and now they're downsizing King and replacing staff with AI per this report. Let's read the rest of it. Multiple sources have given us insight into what's happening at Candy Crush maker King as it prepares to cut 200 staff. Speaking to us anonymously, they claim many of the staff cut will effectively be replaced by the AI tools they built and trained. The London-based Farm Hero Saga team is being cut in half, with about 50 people leaving, including key leadership. One staffer claims employees are being targeted by HR for loudly expressing dissatisfaction internally. King told staff it will represent a new org chart in September after union negotiations. Many staff are now in limbo for the summer. A recent internal survey showed morale at an all-time low. It's now in the gutter. So, as is no surprise to anybody, don't trust HR. Like, have you not seen all of the layoffs and all the things that have happened during COVID? Just be careful around HR, okay? Like, obviously, they are there to protect the company, not necessarily the employee. HR exists so that everybody can come to work and do their best work, and sometimes their job isn't in your best benefit. Let's just put it that way, right? Bloomberg broke the news that King would be cutting around 200 staff earlier this month, they report. That number was later confirmed by our sources, who told us that the cuts were mostly in middle management and UX and narrative copywriting. We've since been told more detail. Many level design and user research staff, plus practically half of the London-based Farm Hero Saga team, are to be made redundant. The cuts will affect around 50 people on Farm Hero Saga, we're told, with some of the game's leadership put on gardening leave ahead of their departure in September. Many level designers, user research staff, plus UX and narrative writers have also been told they're at risk. In particular, These staff have spent the last few years building and training AI tools to do their jobs. They're now effectively being replaced, say sources. Most of level design has been wiped, which is crazy since they've spent months building tools to craft levels quicker, said one staffer. Now those AI tools are basically replacing the teams. Similarly, the copywriting team is completely removing people since we now have AI tools that those individuals have been creating. The fact that AI tools are replacing people is absolutely disgusting, but it's all about efficiency and profits, even though the company is doing great overall, they continued. If we're introducing more feedback loops, then it's crazy to remove the developers themselves. We need more hands and less leadership. I mean, I think both people are right. Now, from the company's perspective, and obviously I'm not happy about them having to do layoffs, they had you build a tool that can do your job. If you can make a tool easily that can do your job, then that's not saying very much about your job. People are very concerned about AI, and I think more and more people need to realize that we can express unhappiness or discontent about the lack of an artistic vision, etc. But do you think the corporations ever cared about that? No. It's a big reason why I'm always talking about how video games adding microtransactions or whatever, I think they're bad, and I think we should push back against it. I think we should push back against day one patches because they allow the game creators to become complacent and release a product they know doesn't work right and just sort of hope for the best the week after launch. So there are all of these problems with gaming right now, and AI is a piece of it. But here's the thing. Companies care about the bottom line. If you stop buying all those microtransactions you don't like, that's going to go away. It's not going to be a worthwhile time investment for them, but you're not going to. You're going to buy whatever you're going to buy. I've been fighting this fight for a decade now. Nobody cares. You want your Batman skin in Fortnite. You're going to get your Batman skin or Superman skin in Fortnite, right? Like, it is what it is. With AI, this is coming from the other side. This is coming from the people who run these companies. They have seen a way to drastically cut their budgets. And if AI can do what you did, then honestly, I would be kind of worried. If I'm a coder, I would be worried right now because AI coding is becoming very popular very quickly. There's some guy I saw on Twitter made a game using AI chat prompts. It's nuts. So this is yes, it's obviously terrible. There's no batting around the bush about it. It's an awful situation to see all of these people laid off. But you literally made a tool to do your job. You made an AI that would do your job. So I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, how does that work going forward? That's a question that I think a lot of people are going to have to contend with. If you can make a tool that can literally do all the things that you can do, why are you still there? Right? And it comes to everything. Content creation is looking at this. Voice actors are concerned about this. That's why the whole SAG-AFTRA thing is happening. This is a huge conversation. And while this is terrible, it's absolutely terrible that this happened. I think you're getting a peek at the future for a lot of industries, not just King. And we can all agree this is bad. This is going to affect everything. Like, this is going to be huge. Let's read the rest of the report. Oh, yeah. The same source suggested that the total number of staff cut may be more than 200 outside of the cuts at the London, Barcelona, Stockholm, and Berlin studios. Many centralized staff are also being removed. We're told, including research and QA, if a resource is centralized, it is being cut or moved into the production team, said one source. As discussions continue between King leadership and the unions and staff across the offices, many employees are effectively in limbo for the summer, unsure of whether their job will be cut or not. Some programmers have been removed for arbitrary reasons, one source has continued, suggesting that some of the people were removed have expressed dissatisfaction with the company or process or vocal in social groups within the company. Another source told us, well, I mean, if you're cutting 200 people, I don't know that they're targeting the negative Nancy's or whatever you call it these days in the office, but I mean, if you're just going around talking about how much you hate your job and how depressed you are and how much you don't like your job, and then they're like, maybe it's time to let this guy go. Like, I don't know. I could see that happening, honestly, just thinking about it. Another source told us about King's long running HR problems, and particularly the Candy Crush teams were described as being in a state of constant but low attrition and perpetual restructuring. King HR is an absolute shit show and has been for years, said another source. An extreme example of HR department whose role it is to protect the company, not the staff. That's what all HR companies are. Like you have to remember that like a company cares about you, but at the end of the day, they care about remaining a company for the long term. And that means often that they're going to fire people. Like this just sucks. And it's not like just a Microsoft thing. We're seeing this report from all the canceled games over at Ben Studios. This is from somebody updating their experience. It says basically game designer 2019 to June, 5 years and 10 months. Multiple canceled / unannounced games, created and iterated an open world events and missions, prototype open world events, created layouts and various points of interest in the open world, wrote design documents, collaborated with animators, collaborated with programmers. So this is somebody's experience. Now they're not being replaced by AI, which is like, that's even worse. Imagine you like wrote the AI and then they're like, okay, good job, you're fired. I think we might see more of that. And I don't really know what recourse employees are going to have in the future. This is my like honest reaction to this whole story. Obviously, it's bad. Nobody would argue that it's not bad, but at the same time, I think we might start to see more and more of this, not just in gaming. I think this is going to be a big problem in the coding world. And I've seen a lot of people like, look how bad this code is for this website that some AI wrote or that somebody wrote. Okay, does it work? It works. Then nobody's going to care. They're not going to care until it's a problem. And then people who specialize in correcting the AI's garbage code are going to get jobs, right? Like I really think that's how it's going to work out. Now, I don't know what sort of jobs are being replaced by AI over at King, but I mean, the fact that you were able to write code to do your job and then it's just like, what do you do with that person? They've made a robot that can do their job. It's definitely sucks, but at the same time, I need to have a better understanding of what additional tasks that person was taking on when they put themselves out of a job, right? It's kind of like, we want you to build this boat. Okay, we built the boat. It's done. Great. You're out of a job and there's no other boats we're ever going to build again. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I'm recording this one kind of late, so I'm a little more rambly, but yeah. On the day of layoffs, one staffer who sat in meetings said King's leadership wanted to remove layers, stakeholders, and processes slowing development down, particularly middle management. They also mentioned the fact that we are too specialized now and siloed between crafts, which got us to our amazing profits, but now is hampering us. So we need to merge and generalize, they said. So they have too much bloat, is what corporate said. It seemed that the main info communicated to us by leadership was literally being read like a script in the calls, which is like a slap to the face. Yeah, dude, like here's the thing. Why does management read a script? Because you can sue them. They get the script that they're allowed to read. They know it's going to leak as you leaked it. And that's what they're going to do as corporate leadership. They're corporate. They don't care about you. Never defend corporate leadership. They're in it for the money. And when I see people going to bat for corporations, I'm just like, they don't care about you. Like, I don't care what company you work at. I would say 99% of those companies, when push comes to shove, they're going to shove you and continue to build their business, right? And that's what we're seeing happen across the industry. And it sucks. It's terrible. People's lives are being drastically impacted. And I don't really know what else to say about it, but I think it's also not valuable to stick our heads in the sand and pretend this is like a a unique case. It's unique in the fact that Microsoft had more employees than anybody else, I suppose. So the layoffs are larger numbers, but it's happening everywhere. And I think that this is going to continue to happen. What else do we have here? Some senior staff have been put on gardening. I don't even know what that is. Leave for the summer ahead of their experienced departure in September. The company's management team has told staff that a new org chart will be presented in September. Oh my goodness. So like yet again, another example of Microsoft just having like the absolute worst handling of layoffs that they possibly could. Hey, we have to deal with the union now, so we'll let you know in September what happens. And my personal opinion, how valuable are unions if you're going to get fired anyway? Like you pay your union dues, and I just really question, did that end up having a net positive for these people? Because it seems like they're not super happy about the fact that they're in limbo until September. And what leverage did the union wind up having? For years, we have advocated for the union, for the industry to unionize. The industry has unionized, and we're seeing record level layoffs from people who are in unions. So I don't know. I don't really have a hot take here. My whole thought on this whole thing is it's crazy that they had people write AI that would do their job for them and then fire them. But at the same time, imagine you're given that directive. Hey, Destin, today we want you to write an AI program that does everything you do. Okay. Hey, I finished it. Great, you're fired. Like, I don't know. And then you can just duplicate yourself. It's almost like an existential thought. I don't even know what to think about it. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. It's just kind of a crazy story, having people code their replacement, basically. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, turn on my content goes live. Thank you so much for watching. Recorded this one later than normal. I've hit every day in July so far. Didn't want to miss this one. Thanks for watching. Thank you to the members, Chris Ferretti, Phil Aroni, Spingater, and Aries EMS. I do greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you want to support, go to patreon.com/SaveStatePlus or click the join button to become a member. I'm going to get out of here, but if you want to see what my next video is going to be sure you subscribe, because it's going to be all about those rumored ally prices. We'll get into that next. Bye for now, everybody.